I want to start this off by saying that you absolutely do not need a coach to get what you think a coach will give you. And not that I regret any of my coaching experiences or think that they're not useful or whatever, or would never be coached again. It's just if choosing a coach would make you feel like financially stretched, and it's just like another thing that you're telling your mind, like, oh, I really need this to get to the next level, to quantum leap, to do this, to get out of my financial, like, I don't know, like, if you're feeling like you need it, you never will actually truly need it. You have everything within you, and any good coach will tell you that. Now, coaches will be helpful. Hello, I'm Felicia. I am not a coach at the moment. Maybe I will be in the future, but I got requested some video ideas, and one of them was sharing how I found my two coaches that I worked with, that I talk about so often, and how I decided to invest in them, and like my experience with that. So I figured I'd do a video about it. When I say that you want to be financially ready for a coaching experience, there are ways to which it could be like really, really aligned for you to work with somebody. And then if you have that clarity and it is really right, nothing can stop you from working with them. And as you're trying and you're deciding, this is what I want to claim, that I want to work with this person, the universe provides you with an opportunity to make enough money to support that. That has happened before. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but if you're really wanting to and you're not seeing that opportunity, I would just say don't stretch yourself to work with someone. If it's going to like make you feel insecure financially, just because you actually won't be able to get as much out of it as you would want to, because you're going to be thinking about the result the whole time, and like, oh, this coach isn't helping me make more money, this coach isn't, like, you're going to be like too fixated on that end result if you're already feeling that struggle, than actually just being able to go full in with that coach and what you want to learn from them. I invested in both of my coaches when I just had the extra money to do so. And at the time, I had already also done all the other extra things that I wanted to do. And then some, like I was having a really good financial few years. So it's just something I desired and was able to do with extra. But I had already traveled for 4 months across the country, which was really fun. I had already gotten my car. I had already set up a bank account or investing account with like a high yield savings account with the down payment of the future home that I would get. And I just had this amount I could spend and invest on myself, and this is how I wanted to do it at the time. So yeah, I think there's times in your life you can get a coach, and times that, like right now, it would not financially be very smart for me to get a coach. And I intentionally also don't want one, like I said. If it aligned and I like found someone that I thought I would really align with and knew an opportunity would come if I really wanted it, I would go for that. But I don't actually think it's really right for me right now, because I'm in a season where I'm really learning to trust myself and know myself and reflect all of those lessons that I have had in just my everyday life right now. Coach not needed. But in this video, I really want to talk about, I'll talk about how I found my coaches, and then I'll talk about my transformation, or I'll talk about my transformation and then how I found them. So I have my little notes. Yeah, whenever I first found these coaches, I thought that I wanted business coaching, and it wasn't really like specifically marketed as business coaching or anything. It was very life coaching, sort of. I don't know, it's always hard to explain. Whenever you know someone's vibe, and I just knew that they could help me. But I went into it thinking, oh, I'm going to talk about business and like transforming my career and like all this stuff. And it actually mostly just became me feeling good about myself, loving and accepting myself, not hating any version of myself, not disliking the, I guess, more negative sides of myself, just fully accepting myself, which is all we're really ever after, I think. But I couldn't know that at the time. At the time, I was just using starting a new business as a way to hate myself. So when I realized like maybe this wasn't the time to like start a new business and do all this stuff, what unfolded for me was actually just self-expression, connection. I mean, through the business, I thought I wanted more connection with women and things like that, because my job doesn't really involve a ton of connection. And I'm not really a face in it or anything. So I just felt invisible in big areas of my life. And I just wanted that connection. I didn't know at the time, but I kind of have always wanted a YouTube channel. And that's sort of what manifested was, well, you could connect with people on YouTube for free. You don't like need a business to actually connect with people. And I think so much of what we desire in this life is actually just giving ourselves permission to do things, which is another thing that I sort of learned during that initial 4-month coaching was like, oh, I wanted the dream house out in the countryside. But really, I just wanted what I thought it would give me, which was farm walks, forest walks, peaceful, quiet, chickens, baking bread, like all of these things, peace. And I just continued to learn that I could actually find that in the city. I found an open farm I could walk around. I got chickens in the city. I started baking bread. Like, I just wanted the permission to do all of those things. And I could just give myself that permission before I moved into the dream house. And so that was a big part of my transformation, was like looking at all these desires, the business, the house, whatever, and like, what do I actually want from these desires? And you can do the same thing if you're having a desire to be coached. What is it that I actually want to feel and accomplish through coaching? And if I can't right now, how can I access those feelings without being coached? Like, how can I genuinely coach myself? That's what I do a lot now. And just reading my notes. So one thing whenever I started YouTube, while I was in the middle of coaching, but I get so frustrated whenever I don't know something. Like, I just feel so good at everything that I do right now. I was like killing it at my job. And all this stuff. And so starting a new project and being a beginner, and also still being in this phase where I didn't like the parts of myself that weren't like 100%. It was really hard to be frustrated at a new hobby that I was like, oh, this is just supposed to be for fun, but I don't know how to edit. I don't know anything technologically. I actually tried to do YouTube before when I was on my 4-month road trip, because I thought it'd be really cool to document this big road trip. And that didn't work because I was so frustrated because I didn't know how to edit and like all this stuff. So a part of my transformation was learning how to just be in frustration, or just be learning something new and not hate myself for it, really. So honestly, kind of eliminating frustration, because it's just like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I learned that as soon as I get frustrated, I kind of just get up and leave the project, but not in a like, oh, I hate this, I'm never doing this way, but just in a like, oh, I need to come back to this when I feel a little bit better way. And that like saved me so much heartache. Like, I kid you not, the first time I tried to figure out how to do the writing on screen, like a text, but it looks like it's typing or whatever, it was like an hour of trying to figure it out, and realized I was frustrated, walked away. And then the next day I found a tutorial and figured it out in like 3 minutes. or less. Like, it was like so quick. So yeah, just like learning to be frustrated in a new hobby without giving up if it's something you really want to do. So that was helpful. And I kind of already talked about like getting over the delete days. That's, well, I guess I haven't really touched on that as much. I have a whole video about delete days, and honestly, like, if you need the weather to be a certain way, to feel a certain way, like all this stuff, I guess that's a little bit different. But anyway, I had these delete days whenever I started with this coach, and the delete days were basically like, if I feel bad, I genuinely felt like I had to go just delete the day is what I would call it. And she really helped me figure out that, like, you just need to be okay with being upset about something and not being your best, not being in the best mood, not being like whatever. Just accept that that's where you are actually and move on. And I don't know, it was just a radical thing for me at that time, but it really, really helped me not feel like I could only be present when I felt 100%. And whenever you can feel present throughout your entire day, and like, I feel like I wasn't even allowing myself to be present tired. I wasn't allowing myself to be present angry, frustrated, like anything. It was just like I only existed in this bubble of positive emotions, and that just really wasn't working out. So it really expanded, I feel like, who I perceived myself to be as a person, and just how I didn't actually feel wrong having negative emotions anymore. And then another thing, one of the last things I feel like I worked with her was radical acceptance, and just being okay with wherever you're at in your life, which I still work on in different modalities now. But at the time, it was like a really frustrated point of like my house. Like, I didn't like where I lived. And I remember one time I lived near a football field, and there was like a Friday night game, and so it was really loud and I couldn't sleep. I was just really upset, and of course I like went on Zillow and was just like, oh my gosh, like, I can't, like, there's no place that I want right now that I can see, or I can't afford the place that I want or whatever. And also, even if I found a place like right now here on Zillow, I'm still stuck here tonight experiencing this football game. So like, I must not be a powerful manifester if all I want to do is sleep, and like I can't, or I don't know, whatever. It was something like that. And I just remember she was like, well, instead of like trying to fix the problem and like go live somewhere else or whatever, which you can't actually physically do right this moment, what if you just let yourself be mad that it's loud? Like, full stop. You're just upset that it's loud, and that's it. There's no story about you. There's no, this house sucks. There's none of that. It's just, it's loud and it sucks. You can't sleep. And I feel like that really helped change how I felt about everything, and like how I started perceiving issues was just like, oh, I'm just mad. And like, I feel like it's just this kernel of pressure that wants you to accept it, wants it to be heard, wants you to just acknowledge that you were upset about this thing. And the resistance to acknowledging that kernel, trying to fix it, trying to figure something else out, trying to kind of always be toxically positive and all of that stuff, is what I feel like that resistance is the thing that sucks. The acceptance doesn't actually suck, because I can just be mad and move on for the night. Like, I got to do something. I remember being like, oh yeah, I'm just mad. Oh, I'm just going to go like watch a movie until they're done, or put on a really loud podcast or whatever. Yeah. I was just like mad, and then you're done with it. Like, that feeling just isn't like, let's fix it. It's just like, yeah, this sucks. Okay, moving on. Like, what else can I do about it? It was very relieving. And at the same time, because at the time I really wanted to move, right as I was ending that coaching, I really did accept exactly where I was, the house I was at. I mean, it had so many layers to it, because it was like, I don't even want to do YouTube until I move, because I want it to be all pretty and cool and like have the place that I want. And it was just like, you can start YouTube now in your city house. Like, that doesn't make any sense. They're not there for the countryside house. They're there for you. And where are you? You know, this is just where you are, and that's okay. And so I ended up vlogging at my city house for like 3 or 4 months before I ended up moving to the house I'm at now. So, and I wouldn't have known that at the time. Like, I started before I moved, and like didn't even know I would be moving so soon. Because literally I just radically accepted the house I was at. I was like, okay, you know, I was getting ready for like a fall there, winter there, cozying up my space. I really truly felt like, for the first time, unfortunately, okay with that space after being there for years. And I wish I would have just been okay with it the whole time. It would have made things so much simpler and less like annoying to just be annoyed at your space. Like, I just feel like I could literally be in any situation now and just accept what's happening and not let it mean a story about me. Like, even the fact that I'm sharing with you all about like, oh, I used to have a lot more financial abundance and have all this stuff, and like now it's been kind of a hard year and I've had to do a lot of stuff, but it's fine. Like, old me 2 years ago probably would have never mentioned this, because I would have just been like feeling like that financial abundance meant a story about me personally, like in my personal worth. And like, I know that that's not true anymore. It's just something that happens. There's no attached story to it. I'll probably be rich again, you know, like it doesn't matter really. Like, it doesn't give me or take me anything. It's just a flow. And I'd much rather feel this way about it than ever feel like it attaches my worth to it or anything. Because I've learned so much more about money abundance, not having money, than I have when I did have it. So, and I'd rather know all those lessons than not know all those lessons. If you want me to do a whole video about that, please let me know. But yeah, so that was kind of that final lesson, radical acceptance. And then 2 weeks later, I found this house, got this house. You don't do it for the result, you do it because you're actually radically accepting, and then the result just tends to happen. But it's always going to manifest in a different way, at a different level later. Like, right now, I would say my like thing that I feel like I can't get, that I've been trying so hard out for 2 years, like, it used to be the house. Now it's been like monetizing YouTube and working on YouTube. Because I've been at it for about 2 years. They've just changed the watch hour thing, and I'm like trying to get those 4,000 watch hours before December. But I think there's been times in the past where I just haven't radically accepted where I was with it, and that's genuinely what I'm just trying to do now, is just like, this is where I'm at, this is what I gotta do, let's do it. You know? So you're just gonna keep learning that lesson in different layers, I think, however you work with a coach, because that was 2 years ago, and I do still feel like I'm moving through other things with it now. The other coach that I worked with, really, I worked with her after working on YouTube for a little bit, so she really helped me with like inner critic talk and stuff like that more so. I also went to her thinking I would do more business things, and it ended up just being more personal things and creative things and stuff like that. My inner critic really took over when I wasn't instantly successful on YouTube. And I don't know, like, I know it's a long game, and I know, and that's okay. Like, but again, I was letting it mean something about me. I was letting views and stuff and like watch hours and all that mean something about the quality of my content or myself. And I wasn't just determining that for myself before posting it. And I don't know, it was just hard to have metrics. So she really helped me with my internal critic, really talk through the metrics of like how I actually view success when it's not numbers and people. And then she was like, when you do monetize it, that's just going to be a different layer when money's involved. So like, it's really good to have this base now, before money's even involved, which I think is very true. And maybe that's just the lesson I need to learn, and that's okay. Just radically accepting like where you're at, how you can talk to yourself, how you can talk to your inner critic, your visionary and your employee self of like the person who's actually putting in the reps and showing up on camera and editing, the person who has the vision of the future of like, oh, what if one day I hosted retreats with people that I've met through YouTube? Like, that'd be crazy. But like, employee me is doing the work right now to make that happen in the future. Like, it all gets convoluted, but she really helped me like see myself in different ways to make my bigger dreams happen, and how I found them. I'll get to this now. So I actually just found a girl on Instagram that I really liked her videos, and she had mentioned doing like a podcast interview. So I just searched her name on Spotify and found an interview. I don't know if this was the one she was talking about, but with the podcast Spiraling Higher. And I listened to the interview and I was like, I actually really, really like these interview hosts. And I went to their podcast, and most of their podcast was just them two. And then they had some interviews. And I was like, I'm going to just listen to them for a little bit. And completely binged them. They have amazing episodes. They don't do the podcast anymore, but I believe it's still up if you want to listen. It's the Spiraling Higher podcast. I'm sure their links are updated to still work with them. I'm not sure. But, yeah, so it's Sam and Gina there. I basically just binged all of their podcasts and realized that I wanted to work with them. Through that, I think it's easy to get to know people after listening to them for so many hours. Like, you really get to get a good sense of people. And I remember at the time they were going to do this like group coaching thing with some retreats included. So I wanted to do that. So I remember like having a meeting with both of them about that. And then that didn't end up working out. But I just decided that I still wanted to work with them individually. So I worked with Sam first. She's an Aries. I'm a Pisces. I really needed that like just go do it energy. My progress sun this year has moved into Aries, and I have really, really felt that like go, go, go energy the most of my life. It's going to be there for 30 years. So I feel like the next 30 years of my life will be way different than the first 28. Because, yeah, I don't know. Pisces are crazy in terms of action. Aries are crazy in terms of action, in terms of doing it. Pisces will do like 3 years worth of action in 3 weeks and then not do anything for 4 years or something, or at least in my experience. So anyway, I really needed that Aries like push energy. And then Gina's a Cancer, which they share all this on their podcast and stuff. So it's, anyway, that was more tied to the emotional sort of sense. So yeah, they just helped me in different ways. But I worked with Sam for 4 months, and then they did host a retreat that I ended up going on, which I have a YouTube video about. I'll link. I mean, I didn't talk about the retreat too much, but I just sort of documented it. It was very fun. And that was their last retreat that they hosted together, which was just so special to be a part of. Met a lot of cool people there. And that's when I connected a little bit more with Gina and realized I also really wanted to work with her too. So ended up working with her later that next year. And that's how I found them. That's how... I would suggest, I mean, honestly, if you are a coach, do a podcast or a YouTube series, because if someone can binge hours and hours of your content and really get a sense of how you think and the way you fix problems, my cat just moved my camera, get a good sense of how you think, how you fix problems, how you like help other people solve their problems, or mindset. Like, that's why I knew that they would be so helpful, because they'd already given so many examples of how they had changed their life, how that they had changed other clients' life. And I just knew that I really liked the way that they taught and thought. And so that's the only time I would probably invest in a coach. I have gotten like one-off little things from other people, but they really do never hit the same way, because I just don't really know the creator, because the creator hasn't really provided a good opportunity for people to get to know them, like podcast wise, like long form. And I'm just such a long form person, how I consume and how I create. So yeah, for me, I would say find someone who's doing something long form and like binge that, and then decide if you want to work with them or not. And then, yeah, I don't know. If you know, you know. So that was my experience with coaching. It's actually been really interesting, because my very first chatting only video on YouTube was sharing my first 4-month coaching experience. And it's actually been being played a lot this last week. And then I got the request to do this chat. So I was like, maybe it's perfect timing. So yeah, that is that. And I hope this sort of helped you really decide if you want to pursue a coaching journey or not with someone, or just continue with either their free content, other people's free content. Just know you have everything that you need in order to get whatever it is you feel like you will get from a coaching experience. And there's stuff out there, there's books, there's other like free people offering free advice that is helpful. My chickens are yelling at me, so I'm gonna go. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.